from her elsewhere for an infra development project. The Karnataka High Court prima facie believes that the Chief Minister has a lot to explain. Why, for instance, did he gain, in a manner of speaking, undue advantage, use undue influence to get undue benefit as a result of an undue favor? Now here's quoting straight out of the judgment itself. When it refers to undue advantage, this is what it says, quote, undue advantage, and this is the justice speaking. I deem it appropriate to use for the reason that relinquishment of land happens 40 kilometers away. But compensatory land springs within the heart of Mysore city. On the question of undue influence, the judgment says, quote, for usage of undue influence, there need not be any recommendation or any order being passed by a public servant. The petitioner, in this case the Chief Minister, is undoubtedly behind the smoke screen for every benefit that has flown to the wife of the petitioner, that is the Chief Minister. The benefit is to the family prima facie due to the power of the petitioner, unquote. On the question of undue benefit, the justice says, and I quote, not a single instance is shown where a person who has relinquished land in Kasare Grama has been granted compensatory land in the upscale area of Mysore city. It is in no doubt true that it is not only in the case of the petitioner that compensatory land by the way of site is granted, but it is only in the case of the wife of the petitioner, that is the Chief Minister, that it is granted in Vijayanagar, third stage. Undue favor. On this question, the judgment says, and I quote, what is further surprising is the moment the benefit is flown to the hands of the wife of the petitioner, proceedings begin to withdraw the rule of grant of compensatory land in the ratio of 50-50. As an icing on the cake, on 27/10/2023, when the petitioner is again the Chief Minister, the government withdraws the resolution of Muda, which was for grant of compensatory land at 50-50 ratio, in which the son of the petitioner had participated. The High Court signs off by saying that, and I quote, how and why the rule was bent in favor of the family of the Chief Minister is what is required to be investigated. If this does not require investigation, I fail to understand what other case can merit investigation, as the beneficiary is the family of the petitioner and the benefit is by leaps and bounds. It is in fact a windfall, unquote. But as of now, the Chief Minister is sticking to his guns. The Chief Minister has said, viewers, that he is being hounded, that he is being persecuted, on account of being actually a pro-poor backward. Let me just quote him. Our judicial struggle against this revenge politics of BJP and JDS will continue, he says. I have faith in the court. All the MLAs, leaders and workers of our party and the Congress High Command have stood by me and encouraged me to continue the fight for the law. This is what Siddaramaiah says. He goes on to say, BJP and JDS have resorted to political retaliation against me because I am pro-poor and fighting for social justice, unquote. Now viewers, the court has gone into objections raised by the Karnataka Chief Minister against the order passed by the governor. And let's go into some of these. And they're all on your screens, viewers. I hide nothing from you. Nothing can get between us, viewers. So the facts are right there. The objection that the Chief Minister raised was that this was a sponsored witch hunt against him. But look at what the High Court says. The complainants were justified in registering the complaint or seeking approval at the hands of the governor. The other objection the Chief Minister made in court was that the governor cannot assume the advice of the cabinet of ministers is biased and assume discretionary powers, and must explain orders that the cabinet decision suffers from manifest irrationality, unquote. The High Court responds and says the governor in normal circumstances has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. but can act independently in exceptional circumstances, and the present case is one such exception, viewers. One such exception. So it upholds the right of the governor that was abused by the Congress party government as being biased. But the court says no, he isn't. The objection was raised by Siddaramaiah, saying governor towing the line dictated by the centre acted in hottest haste, unquote. To which the High Court replies, gubernatorial order nowhere suffers from want of application of mind. It is not a case of not even a semblance of application of mind by the governor, but abundance of application of mind. Abundance, viewers. So the governor, according to the High Court, has really thought it through. Another objection was raised by the Chief Minister. He said, sanction for prosecution cannot be given under Section 17A of the PCA when a private person is a complainant, as in the present case. On this point also, the High Court said, PCA does not require only a police officer to seek approval to investigate a public official. In fact, it is the court duty, unquote, of a complainant to seek such approval even if they are a private citizen. This is what the court has said. Here's a quick glance at the charges against the Chief Minister. October 2010, the land gifted to Parvati, Siddaramaiah's wife. And this is a whole timeline, viewers, it's on your screen. June 2014, CM's wife seeks compensation for land used up by the Muda. So she gets this land. Then Muda comes in to acquire that land and she says, give me compensation. Nothing wrong here. Most people were asking for that and you would too. December 2017, Muda decides to award alternative sites to Parvati. But viewers, no one else gets the sites that Parvati ji gets. She actually gets, in the words of the court, a windfall. She gets it in the heart of Bengaluru. Land which is priced much higher. Had she been paid ordinarily compensation for the land that was acquired, it would have been far lesser than the price of the land that she gets. She gets 14 plots in Vijayanagar third phase. In October 2023, alternative sites allotment on a 50-50 basis is then halted. In 2024 June, RTI activist reveals illegal allotment to Chief Minister's wife. Siddaramaiah seeks compensation of 62 crores for the land. So viewers, the original price of the land acquired by Muda is far less. But he seeks 62 crores. He's made a killing. July 2024, Governor issues show cause notice to Siddaramaiah. August 2024, CM responds to Governor's notice, denies allegations. August 2024, Governor grants prosecution sanction of Siddaramaiah. And that's what happens today. The Karnataka High Court upholds the prosecution sanction of the Chief Minister. Now, this isn't the first time that a governor has granted prosecution sanction against a Chief Minister or public servant holding a high post. In 1995, sanction to prosecute ex-Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha for a graft case was given by the governor. In 1997, ex-Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad sanction granted in fodder scam. In 2016, governor grants a sanction to CBI to prosecute Ashok Chavan in the Adarsh scam. In 2011, Karnataka governor of that time, Mr. Bhardwaj, gave sanction to prosecute ex-Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa in a graft case. Viewers, the question therefore then arises, given all of what I've told you, should the Chief Minister bow out, resign, give way? Because at the end of the day, now that prosecution sanction given by the governor has been upheld by the court, an FIR will be lodged. And viewers, the people who will be now investigating this case report to who? But the gentleman in the middle of our screens, the Chief Minister. Now viewers, when the cabinet was not going to give prosecution sanction, it is a bit rich in our country, especially after what the Supreme Court said the other day and the other courts have said about, the caged parrot, which are our investigation agencies. Do you think they will act independently when they're reporting to Mr. Siddaramaiah? It's a bit hard to expect, viewers. I I hope that there are people there who will not be swayed. But viewers, given the track record, it doesn't look very promising, does it now? Let's open this up. Surbi Mudigere, spokesperson of the BJP, is here with us. Karan Verma, author. Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst. Sumansi Raman, also with us, an expert commentator.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you first, Tehseen Poonawalla.
Thank you.
You know, I know that the Congress has been banding about Section 218 of the BNSS.
Correct.
But unfortunately, the Congress doesn't seem to have read the judgment and the order itself.
They have.
Well, then they shouldn't be proclaiming this to be some sort of a partial victory. Because even the judge has come out. No, well, let me just tell you. The judge has come out and actually said that when an investigation hasn't begun, you can't apply this particular clause. So, from that point of view, the governor stands overruled. But it doesn't take away from the sanction that has been granted under the PMLA, as you know. So, I don't understand why the Congress is using a smokescreen tonight to hide behind a complete demolition of the Chief Minister by the High Court. And I have pointed out, chapter and verse, the problems here. There has been, in the words not of me, but of the High Court, and I've also tweeted this out, viewers, for all of you to see, with the excerpt. In fact, if you keep going into the order beyond the pages that I have put out, you will see all of this that I read out today. So viewers, he stands accused today in a manner of speaking of undue advantage, not my words but the courts, undue influence, not my words but the courts, undue benefit as a result of an undue favor. And he wants to stick to that chair as if he got it with him from some divine source, that it is his birthright to sit on it. Tehseen Poonawalla, and he's invoking his identity. So I want to ask you, then why does Rahul Gandhi ask constantly for the resignation of Mr. Modi, who's also a backward caste? Is Rahul Gandhi also anti-backward caste?
So Rahul, there are three things here. The divine right to sit. What language is being used for a chief minister who came from humble beginnings, from the shepherd community? No, it's not his divine right to sit. Obviously, the BJP and the JDS will go after him. They will go after him with a ton of bricks. Because you know what? And doctor, you must hear this. In that Muda committee that granted those 14 plots to his wife, were BJP and JDS members, were people appointed by BJP and JDS. How come they are not being prosecuted? When was those 14 plots allotted? When he was not chief minister, but Yedurappa ji was chief minister, when there's the BJP chief minister. So now, Siddaramaiah is being prosecuted today for something the BJP government did with BJP and JDS representatives. Of course, they were Congress representatives, and let me take that away. Only because he comes from the shepherd community, the poorest of poor and the most marginalized community. But let me say something more. This is a victory in court today, a partial victory. The vindictive actions of the governor have been called out by the court, and they said, listen, all these sections can only apply if there's an inquiry. Now, who's called for a judicial inquiry? The chief minister. It's only restricted the investigation under 17A, which is a victory. That too will be overruled. And I want your viewers to understand one hypothesis, just the hypothesis. Let's say tomorrow, Doctor or Karan or I make allegations against the Honorable Prime Minister, and the President, without seeking the nod of the Cabinet of India, decides to act on her own advice.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
May I please? Please. And the President of India, she decides not to act on the aid and advice of the Cabinet, but decides because the Prime Minister heads the Cabinet, she is empowered to take action against the Prime Minister. The same BJP that interrupted me and didn't want this example to come up right now will be saying, listen, the President can only act on aid and advice of the Cabinet. So I do believe that we are erring in very bad territory, in absolutely in territory that is uncharted. We're seeing how governors from Tamil Nadu, Dr. Suman's state, to Karnataka, to other states are acting as unelected representatives and blocking elected governments from functioning. We've seen the comments recently of the Tamil Nadu governor, shameful to say the least. We've seen how same bill that Karnataka passes when it was under BJP and Chhattisgarh passes when it was Congress, same bill verbatim, the Chhattisgarh governor will not sign it, but the by the Karnataka government, the BJP sign. So this prosecution by Gehlot ji, the governor of Karnataka, calls for all eyes to be open. And I say
all eyes to be open, viewers, he says. All eyes, open your eyes like this, very big.
States
all
need
eyes.
To unite. All
now let me tell you. Now let me tell you, viewers, let me tell you something. And Dr. Raman also knows because he comes very well prepared. In 2011, there was a chief minister and his name was Mr. Dr. Raman, what was his name?
You tell us, Chief Minister of which state would you like
Karnataka,
us to
sir.
talk about?
Karnataka. You're a cephalogist, you know.
Yeah.
didn't say the state
Earlier
now.
there was Yediyurappa.
Yediyurappa belong to which party?
Yediyurappa.
The BJP. Okay, now let me finish.
And
Now
how
let me
long?
finish. Let me
No,
finish,
no,
gentlemen.
no,
Now
no,
let me finish,
no,
please. Let me finish. I only asked you a small question. I didn't ask you for a thesis.
The
One second. Now, Tehseen, let me. Okay, give me. No, please give me 30 seconds, please. Please give me 30 seconds. Please, I am not going to hide anything from anybody, viewers, because I've tweeted all this out. So, just a minute, please give me now. Come on, Tehseen, I never interrupted you. Now, please don't do this. Let's have order on the debate. I'm not being unfair here at all. I'm just looking at how this entire circle goes around. So, today is 2024. We go back 13 years. At that time, Hansraj Bhardwaj said that I am granting prosecution sanction against Mr. Yediyurappa. Mr. Yediyurappa and the BJP both say, no. Who is he? He hasn't gone by what the cabinet has said. Who is he? Same thing that Siddaramaiah is saying today.
No.
Few months later, the Lokayukta, let me finish. Few months later, viewers, the Lokayukta and a very, very towering personality,
Santosh Hegde.
Mr. Santosh Hegde comes out and says, no, prima facie, there is a case against Mr. Yediyurappa. And he has to demit office, viewers. Both react the same way. Now you tell me, viewers, when the inevitable is written, and I'm not saying it, the High Court itself has gone into this matter and it's given a very lengthy judgment. Please read it. It's more than 180 pages, almost 200 pages. And in these, page after page, viewers, page after page, it makes certain observations. And these observations I can read out, I can bore you, and they're on your screens.
Allow me to reply to this.
But let me tell you, viewers, sooner than later, Mr. Siddaramaiah has to go.
Why?
Now, he must, in the meantime, find his Bharat. Kejriwal found his Bharat. There are no Bharats for him in that party. Let me tell you. DKS is looking over his shoulder. In any case, 2.5 years later, he would have already got that position, some say. So there are all these issues. Viewers, I will come to Dr. Raman in 30 seconds, but I want to bring in Surbhi Mudigere. Your response to Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla and the counter allegations he has made tonight.
I'm very amused that Tehseen began to, parrot the I am a Hinda leader and therefore you should be protecting me. One, yes, Rahul, as you very rightly said, that does not apply to the Prime Minister. In fact, his caste is used against him. The important thing here, if it was true that the Chief Minister of Karnataka was indeed working for the marginalized of this state, then a Valmiki scam would not have happened. If it is indeed true that an SIT formed or any sort of investigation happening in the Valmiki case was being run in a fair manner, then the minister who had to resign the last 15 months, his name is not even on the charge sheet. In such a situation, how is it that we can trust the state investigation team, which we have dubbed, by the way, Siddaramaiah investigation team, because they've gotten used to giving clean chits? How can we ensure that they have a fair investigation? What this order today has made way for investigation, for inquiry. But in the court of public opinion, it is the requirement of a leader who has said, I have gone 40 years without any black stain of corruption on me. It is a moral duty of a person like this, Mr. Siddaramaiah sir, to resign and allow for a fair investigation. Tell me where your minister who has resigned, your ex-minister, his name was mentioned by the person who committed suicide in the Valmiki case. But it's not there in the charge sheet. How can we expect that the chief minister is going to be investigated without any fear? if he continues to be the chief minister. The second point that I want to make, and the reason I was surprised by the Ahinda point was because, you should have brought up the agnostic rational point. Siddaramaiah says, I'm not scared of anything. I'm never somebody to budge to anything. Today, the same person who is, sworn leftist and agnostic has been making temple runs. It shows some sort of fear and anticipation that something has gone wrong here. Again, I'm not a court of law. BJP is not a court of law.
Can I please make a point?
Let her finish.
All we are
Sure, after her.
saying is that there is a fair reason as to why the governor has given the order that he has given. There has been thorough. There have been 5 complainants. It's not a dearth of any complainants. There has been time for it. Let the investigation happen. Why are you scared of the investigation? If you have nothing to hide, you must be the first person to come out and say, investigate me.
Investigate me. Dr. Raman, this elaborate attack on the governor has fallen flat. The Congress is looking extremely compromised. The High Court has come out and said how and why the rule was bent in favor of the family of the Chief Minister is what is required to be investigated into. If this does not require investigation, I fail to understand what other case can merit investigation, as the beneficiary is the family of the petitioner and the benefit is by leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Is in fact a windfall.
Rahul,
And he goes on to say, no, 1 minute. Let me finish. Don't be in a hurry. I'm just saying. All the aforesaid allegations in the considered view of the court would require investigation in the least for the reason that if the petitioner was not in the seat of power, helm of affairs, the benefit with such magnitude would not have flown.
Rahul.
Because of him being chief minister, the benefits have flown, says the High Court judge. And he still wants to cling to his chair. Tell me, doctor. Tell me, doctor.
He was not the chief minister, but he was always in a position of power to influence. If you go to Mysore,
Sir, please, there are two aspects. There are two aspects to this.
1 second, Rahul, let me speak. I have not even spoken 2 sentences. Please allow me to speak. First of all, let us make one thing very clear. This is a completely bizarre case for the simple reason that if Mr. Siddaramaiah has been prosecuted, then Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, who actually allotted the land or the plots in the Vijayanagar layout, he must be prosecuted. This is a BJP government that gave the plots. It is not a Congress government. I mean, what kind of absurdity is this?
Dr. Raman, think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying. If it was not an issue, if it was exactly this, no, 1 second, if it was exactly this, Mr. Siddaramaiah would have welcomed the investigation. Hang on. Would have welcomed the investigation so that he could paint Bommai, the former chief minister, as the villain of the piece and hang him by it. But he went to the court saying that I don't want this investigation, stay it.
may I please come in?
Have I denied it? Have I denied it? It's all there. It's on the timeline. It's on the timeline. So why, if that was the case, if it's the BJP that is guilty, why is Siddaramaiah opposed to an investigation? Answer the question.
How he is not opposed to an investigation?
Of course he is. He moved court.
No,
he didn't move court. His ghost moved court.
Look, he has moved the court simply because he has said that there is no case in it. That's all.
If there was no, so he doesn't want the BJP to be, he doesn't want the BJP to be caught out. What do you mean there's no case in it?
This is a bizarre argument.
It's not a bizarre argument.
You are making a bizarre argument.
I mean, the bizarre argument is being made by Dr. Raman. He says the BJP is the criminal. No, hang on. No, just viewers, just think about it.
They have not been named.
Okay, 1 second. He says, one second. Okay, now don't shout over me, sir, please. I'm not saying, I'm only. Okay, sir, you're absolutely right.
Those who allotted the.
You are absolutely right, Dr. Raman. You're right.
But there is corruption and there is nepotism.
Okay, now viewers. Clearly, there is something amiss. Now, whether it's the BJP that facilitated a deal for Mr. Siddaramaiah or Mr. Siddaramaiah exercised undue influence, I'm not saying it, the courts are saying it. That has to be investigated, Karan Verma. That has to be investigated. And I would think that the CM would say, this is my opportunity to come out smelling of roses and nail the BJP. But what does he do? He moves mountains. He gets Abhishek, Manu Singhvi, Dr. Singhvi to stand with a whole battery of lawyers to say, Roko isko, stop this investigation into me, stop this grant of the governor's prosecution sanction. Why is he wanting to let the BJP off the hook? Karan Verma?
And Rahul, he has been trying to stop this investigation right from December 2023. Let me just share the perspective and timeline for Tehsin's knowledge also. In December 2023, the Urban Development Department instructed the Muda, the Mysore Urban Development Authority, to stop this allotment. They did not listen to it. In fact, they continued with it. And in March 2024, they went further ahead with it. And then they said, because of the model code of conduct, we cannot reply back to you. This gained steam after the results came in June 2024, and the activists took over it. It was in the local newspapers, and in fact, there was a BJP MLC by the name Mr. Vishwanath, who then moved the courts. And after that, it was the activist, the Muda chairman, K. Marigoda, who requested the department to form an investigation. After that, Siddaramaiah, I mean, look at the shamelessness of it. In July 2024, said, I can be compensated with 62 crores. He demanded 62 crores. Instead. So this is
Siddaramaiah didn't.
I mean, sorry.
No, he's right.
No.
Siddaramaiah didn't.
He did.
He did.
No.
What are you saying?
No.
He says, give me 62 crores.
What are you saying, Tessie?
And then, when
July
all of this
2024,
began to hit the ceiling, he said, I'm ready to give the land back.
He writes this letter and says, I'm telling you, he offers to return the sites if Muda compensates him with rupees 62 crores.
Yes.
Then the social activist, it was TJ Abraham, who files complaint with the Lokayuk police in Mysore. So, you know how he's tried to scuttle and stop this probe from reaching its logical conclusion. It's there for us to see. And on 16th August, when they were given interim relief for some time, that time the courts were fine. Today, when that relief has been denied, and today when the court has come heavily on you, then you cry vendetta. And for Tehsin to raise the identity, well, if there is one person who has been vilified and debased, it's the governor. It's the governor Thawar Chand Gehlot, who has been time and again vilified because he's a Dalit. So, you know, raising identity politics doesn't help when you don't have the merits of the case on your side.
And, you know, there is enough.
May
I
I
have
please
the
ask-
entire
may I
quotes.
please ask for-
1 second, just I'll come to both of you.
Can I?
No problems. I'll come to both of you. Just give me 30 seconds. Just give me 30 seconds. Viewers, if you just go to the Congress timeline, you will see the kind of invective that they have used against the governor. Now, we are not saying here, let's be very clear, viewers. I'm not saying that Mr. Siddaramaiah is guilty. What is the High Court saying tonight? The High Court has come out and said, let's begin a probe. In fact, it used very colorful language, proletariat, and it talked about bourgeoisie, this, that, the other, and he said that any ordinary person would have had to be investigated. But there is a problem here, viewers, and the reason why people want Mr. Siddaramaiah to step aside is because there could be a conflict of interest. The agencies that are now going to probe after an FIR is lodged report to you, the Chief Minister. Now, Dr. Raman, is it, now, you know, many people say that the BJP controls the ED, the CBI, the courts have said carrot, parrot, whatever, you know. So, how do we know that under Siddaramaiah, the agencies that will now inquire the police officials who report to him, because he's also the Home Minister, will do an independent job?
No, why not you order a CBI inquiry? Let there be a CBI inquiry. What is
It's
the
not for
problem?
me to decide, sir. That is for him to make the recommendation or the court to order one.
What I'm saying is, look, it is crystal clear that this is not going to go anywhere simply because the allocation was made by a BJP government.
So,
this is just for politics and just to try and score some political points.
Okay, Surbi, Mudigere, just for politics.
Can I please come in?
Yeah, of course, Tehsin. You can also come in. Make your point. Tejasvi Surya will be joining us in another 5 minutes. Yes.
I just
Against
want
them
very,
also,
No.
then
I
it
just
would have
want to
made
take on this
It seems like
question
it's a
that
sonnet.
has been repeated again and again by Sumant sir. Sir, if you say that it has been granted under the BJP government, was Siddaramaiah just a common citizen at that point in time? Do you know the sway that he holds in Mysore?
Yeah.
Do you know the kind of sway he holds in the Muda activities? Is that something
Can I
you
please
can?
come?
Was he not?
Yeah,
Let me get my point in, please. There is absolute fear of investigation because this house of cards that has been built, that Siddaramaiah the Great is untouchable in terms of corruption, is falling apart.
Okay.
Falling apart.
Okay. Tehsin Punala,
mind
respond,
you.
please. Let him respond. Please.
Okay, a lot of misinformation has been peddled, and unfortunately, it's been allowed to be peddled. Number one, both Dr. Suman, I and you, Rahul, agree that Siddaramaiah was not chief minister when this land was allotted to his wife.
He was
Right. So however influential is it, is BJP? So is
again.
BJP? Does BJP has a stale between
Let him
election and
finish.
influence?
Let him finish. Yes.
So first, influential or not influential, BJP allots the land, number one. Number two, Karan, the chief minister did not say he should get the money. He said his family should be compensated. That's his wife land. Everyone on this panel, please allow me. Let's not be condescending. Everyone on this panel agrees that this is a 30-year-old land deal that we are talking about.
Acquired from a Dalit family, FYI.
Can I please?
Okay, let's not speak over each other. Surbi Mudigere, you can respond to Tehseen Punawala. Let him finish his 2 or 3 points. You can respond, please. Let's not speak over each other. Let's do the viewers some service here. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Punawala, make your point quickly.
There is a land acquired, 30 years ago, there's a land acquired by Siddaramaiah's wife's brother.
Yes.
He hands it over to Siddaramaiah's wife. None of this is disputed plan. The land, Muda then says it's illegal, they wrongly took the land. They decide to give her compensation against BJP. Nothing is disputed in this. In October 23, this 50-50 land deal is cancelled by the Congress government. Congress cancels it. It says this is wrong.
Exactly.
It says Congress that cancels. They said you cannot compensate like that. So now the question comes, what about Siddaramaiah's wife? Siddaramaiah says, listen, her land, I have to compensate everyone. You give her either the money or you give her land. You see what you want. Now the NAT, if Siddaramaiah is therefore guilty for cancelling what is a controversial scheme done by the BJP in giving his wife land, then by that logic,
but that is precisely what the court has looked at and said is not above. No, 1 second. Mr. Punawala, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but the court has a problem with this. The court has a problem with it. It thinks that it was an attempt to facilitate a compensation package at huge exalted prices for the chief minister. That's the problem.
But who did that?
No.
But who
1 second. Let me just bring it. One second.
Why giving the chief minister a bribe?
Rahul,
Or the
this is
BJP
completely
chief
One
minister
second.
giving him a bribe? Who is
Ms.
the bribe
Mudigere,
giver?
respond.
If I'm the bribe
I
taker
am
or
not
the
a
bribe giver.
government.
Hang on.
How can I be guilty? For something which I got.
Why are you jumping in?
government.
Let her respond, sir, please. She's from the BJP. She's the only
First and
spokesperson here.
foremost-
You guys
first
are
and
ganging
foremost-
up on her. Let her
Listen,
finish.
she and Karan are very capable.
Unfortunately, Rahul, they're ganging up against the untruth for the untruth over here, because even the acquisition of that land is under question. The court has already made a note of that. How it was acquired from a particular person from the Dalit community is under question. Second, when compensation was given, who gave it or not, investigate. We are open to it. Who investigate?
Why have they not been named?
Hang on.
Why is
Let
Basaraj
me-
Bommai not
speak.
being named?
There is going to be a case that is going to be filed in FIR. The FIR can mention all these people. Don't jump the gun in the process.
Somewhere near Noida and give it in Lutyens, Delhi. That's the compensation that has been allocated. There has been very clear.
They're separate states.
Whichever, I'm trying to give a
Noida
Delhi
and Lutyens, Delhi are separate states.
viewership.
You can't do
The
that.
point is
Let's
that
not-
higher
Yeah, they are
compensation
different
is
states, so it
given.
can't.
And then
It
my
doesn't matter,
question is,
Dr. Aman.
this
You
is
know what
the
she
family
means.
that has benefited, sir. Give me the answer to this. Why did Siddaramaiah, sir, hide this in his 2013 affidavit?
Yes.
Why was this land
That's
parcel
not
not mentioned? Why was this land parcel not mentioned? And you keep repeating, when he got this land, he was not chief minister. You know what, Tehseen? You know what, Sumanta? He is chief
It was
minister
not-
now.
it has
He
been
is chief
acquired,
minister
right?
now. Let
When
him
was
be
it acquired?
investigated. He
Okay.
is chief minister now. Let him be investigated.
Karan.
And any sort of conflict of interest
Karan
that
Verma.
arise from it should. It is our duty
the
to ensure that
only-
that doesn't happen.
On these points. Yeah.
The only defense that Tehseen or Mr. Raman have is that the BJP did it, or it happened during BJP's time, but they are not replying as to why Siddaramaiah got 14 premier properties. It's a scam running close to 4,000 crores. They are not replying on the merits. How he tried to scuttle this probe, how he tried to place a roadblock every single time, they are not answering on that. All they've done is resorted to whataboutery and tried to question the BJP. You are not answering on Siddaramaiah.
This
Siddaramaiah
is
must step
following.
down.
You're right,
He must
Karan.
step down.
This
Let's
is
be focused
following.
on what Siddaramaiah is
He
doing
has
right.
not allotted the
I'll answer that.
plot.
One second.
BJP
One second.
government is
One
not
second.
allowed.
One second. One
If
second.
you get
benefited
14 plots,
finally?
will you say
Who has
no?
benefited
Who is
finally?
benefiting from it?
Who
One
has
second. One
benefited
second.
from
One
it?
second. One
Then
second.
you have to
Viewers.
prosecute
the
who
BJP
gave him the plot.
Viewers.
You have to prosecute who.
Viewers,
violated
all of this,
government,
all of
violated
these are
government rules.
points of an investigation. But what if someone says, do not investigate?
Correct.
Then what
correct.
happens, viewers?
Please investigate.
So one
Please
second. No,
investigate
now
everyone.
you're saying please investigate.
No, I'm
but
saying
what
it
does
right
Mr.
at the beginning.
Siddaramaiah
I'm
want
saying
done?
order
Siddaramaiah
CBI
was
Okay,
trying
please
to
don't
scuttle this
shout.
probe.
Please don't shout. Viewers,
Order a
I need you
CBI
to
inquiry.
understand this. Look, it's very simple. It's very simple. the governor cannot automatically go out there and order the prosecution sanction, cannot give the prosecution sanction. He has to take the opinion of the cabinet. In this case, the Siddaramaiah cabinet. The Siddaramaiah cabinet was obviously not keen on an investigation. So what does the governor, Mr. Gehlot, do? He exercises his powers, goes into this issue and grants prosecution sanction. Now, what is the next step, viewers? Think about it. The next step is very simple, that an FIR is lodged, in that the police or whoever it is that is going to investigate is free to name whoever they want, Bomai, BJP, everybody, including the chief minister, and an investigation begins. But what happens? That investigation is not beginning. The CM goes running to court, gets an interim order, the matter is stayed. What is stayed? The grant of prosecution sanction is stayed, viewers. And then the chief minister is attacked by the BJP to say you should quit because you are using your power now to block a very important procedure. This matter goes to the courts. He is a petitioner in his own case and he tells the High Court, please scrap this governor's order. There should be no investigation. Today the court rules against him. Now, viewers, the investigation will have to begin. Now I come back to this point. Why did they stall the investigation for this long? If they were all clean and it was the BJP that was guilty. Number one.
Can I please
think about it.
that?
I'm moving on because I have to go to Mr. Surya. I have to go to Mr. Surya. 1 second. And second point, viewers, is this. If an investigation now has to take place, state authorities have to do it because they are not certainly going to ask for a CBI probe, are they? State government has to demand one unless the court suo motu orders one. Someone will have to move the courts again. Now, if the state authorities are going to investigate, viewers, who's the chief minister they're reporting to? It's Mr. Siddaramaiah. Can you have a fair and independent probe? Well, think about it, viewers. Till he's CM, you can't. And even if you do, there will always be doubt. That is why people are saying, step aside in the interim, like Mr. Kejriwal has done. Find your Bharat, who will rule in your name, and step aside. That's all where we are at, viewers. We don't know who's guilty, who's not guilty. I'm not even going there. But I'm going to welcome Tejasvi Surya, BJP Member of Parliament. He joins us. He represents Bengaluru South. The Congress says it's a partial victory for the Chief Minister as the High Court has denied Governor sanction to seek prosecution under Section 218 of the BNSS. Mr. Surya, how do you respond to this?
Well, clearly the Chief Minister is trying to clutch onto some straws for last minute political oxygen. That's all I can say with this interpretation or this reading of the very clear High Court order. Rahul, the High Court order makes it abundantly clear that the governor has taken an appropriate decision to accord sanction against the Chief Minister, and that he is empowered to take independent action regardless of the advice of the Council of Ministers in exceptional circumstances such as these. The High Court has also mentioned in its detailed order two other very interesting things. One, it says that the order of the governor according sanction does not suffer from lack of application of mind. It in fact goes to say that there is an abundance of application of mind on the part of the governor. First. Second, the judgment also makes it clear, it makes a very strong observation that the primary beneficiaries of the alleged corruption, the 56 crore benefits in this scam is the Chief Minister and his immediate family, and therefore the Chief Minister has very serious questions to answer, and therefore the Chief Minister cannot run shy of facing an investigation.
Okay.
So these two very pertinent observations of the High Court in its long speaking, well-reasoned order of saying that the governor's order does not suffer from lack of application of mind, but in fact displays abundance of application of mind, and that the immediate beneficiaries of the alleged scam are the Chief Minister's immediate family members, and therefore the Chief Minister cannot run shy from investigation, are very scathing, to say the least. And Siddaramaiah ideally should reflect and resign immediately to make way for an impartial inquiry. But now that Arvind Kejriwal has set new standards for shamelessness in the country, I don't know what path Siddaramaiah will undertake.
Well, as of now, the Chief Minister says, I'm not quitting. Even HD Kumaraswamy didn't and Yediyurappa didn't quit. So why should I? What's your reaction to this?
Well, for the primary reason that once this sanction is accorded, the law will follow its course and an FIR will be registered. And once the FIR will be registered, the authorities who will be investigating the Chief Minister will also be reporting to him. Therefore, principles of natural justice, fairness demand that the authorities who report to me cannot be investigating me. In that context, one would deem it necessary in the interest of fairness, justice and morality for the Chief Minister to take a moral high ground and resign. But like I said, even after being arrested and after being in jail for months together, there are new precedents being set by people like Arvind Kejriwal, new records of shamelessness in public office being set.
Okay,
and I don't know what course of action Siddaramaiah would want to take.
Well, Mr. Surya, at a political level, the response from the Chief Minister today in his press conference, and you can see him there in the middle of your screens where he was holding a press conference, says that the BJP, the JDS are against lower castes and therefore there is a witch hunt against him. How would you respond to this at a political level?
Well, unfortunately, in many instances, people who are facing very serious charges suddenly start invoking their caste and caste connected either privileges or backwardness as a shield to protect against the crimes that they have committed. Now, if people should not be making allegations against the Chief Minister just because he happens to be from the backward class, then why was Rahul Gandhi making unfounded allegations against the Prime Minister of the country who also happens to be from the backward classes? Why was it then that Siddaramaiah was not coming in front in support of the Prime Minister? Why did Siddaramaiah not counsel Rahul Gandhi to stop making allegations against a backward class Prime Minister? So in the case of the Prime Minister, his backward class cannot be a shield when Rahul Gandhi makes allegations against him. But in the case of Siddaramaiah's own corruption and his immediate family's corruption, his backward class can become a point of defense. People are not blind to such doublespeak and hypocrisy. People of Karnataka and people of the country, the electorate is extremely mature and intelligent and will see through this kind of hypocrisy, Rahul.
Well, Mr. Surya, thank you for speaking to me. Thank you for joining us here on CNN News 18. Viewers, this story is not going anywhere. Let me tell you that. It's going to hog the headlines for a few more days, perhaps weeks and months till something breaks in Karnataka. But we're staying with Karnataka because the Siddaramaiah-led Karnataka government has mandated Urdu as a must-known language for candidates applying for the Anganwadi teachers post in Mudigere and Chikkamagaluru districts. The order takes forward a directive first issued in 2022. Even though the directive was first issued under the BJP state government, this decision has drawn sharp criticism from the opposition BJP, which accuses the Congress government of, quote, Muslim appeasement, unquote. Now, the facts are, of course, on your screens, viewers. This order has been issued by the Department of Women and Child Welfare and says that areas where the population is about 25% Muslims, minorities, there Urdu must be known by the Anganwadi teachers. The order has ignited a controversy because it privileges Urdu in the recruitment process. Critics of the decision point out that the Congress is being hypocritical because the party has been against the imposition of any language other than Kannada. Kannada is, of course, the official language of the state. Urdu is not an official language. Urdu primarily offered as an optional subject in Urdu medium schools. Karnataka's Congress government has militated against Hindi imposition in the past. Mandating Urdu Anganwadi recruitment appears to be a political move, therefore, says the BJP and others. Let's quickly open this up, viewers. Let's get a quick response. Sayyid Abbas Sahab is here with us. Surbi Mudigere is also there with us. So, the Congress has a problem with any other language except for Kannada, but suddenly comes out and says that, okay, Urdu is acceptable.
Absolutely not, Rahul Saab. As a matter of fact, I can tell you one thing, being a Kannadiga, be it the BJP, Congress or the JDS, all of them are pro-Kannada. But let us understand the Anganwadi teacher model here in Karnataka. Mudigere that we speak of from the Chikkamagaluru district has 31.94% which are of Muslim community. Anganwadi teachers, which are elementary educationists in the rural scenario, come in where kids age of 3 and 6, which is their mother tongue. Here it could be Kannada, Urdu, English. In Gujarati it could be same. It could be anything in any state. Only for the ease of understanding, comprehension, language. For young kids who come into the rural schools, only for the ease of communication, this has been laid out. The Bharatiya Janata Party here in Kannada loves to make issues which are non-issues.
Okay.
The fact of the matter, 2022, when BJP was in power, the first notification of the Gazette came in. The Congress Party is only executioning the same. Could Surabhi Mudigere ji kindly answer?
Surabhi Mudigere, what's good for the goose, not good for the gander? That's what Abbas Saab is saying.
Well, isn't Congress Party the new torchbearer of Kannada Horatagaru? Is that they have put your trust in you, right? So please don't do this double speak. And you've been accusing the BJP of Hindi imposition. When you're doing that, should you not be the one?
So BJP is not pro-Kannada, ma'am? Only Congress? Can you say that?
Sir, that is why we come into this argument. BJP's pro-Kannada does not start and end with irrational arguments.
Ma'am, you just said you're pro-Hindi.
I was quoting the accusation. Let me speak, please. 5.5% people speak Hindi. Does that mean that 5.5% of the Anganwadi teachers in and around Bengaluru district should be Hindi speaking mandatorily, mind you? 12.5% speak Tamil. Does that mean that they should know Tamil compulsorily, mandatorily? Please, I don't understand where your argument is going. And this does not start and end with Anganwadi schools or Anganwadi centers, Rahul. Here in Karnataka, Congress actually campaigns in 2 languages, Kannada and Urdu. In my own constituency,
no, that is not fair. That's not fair.
I will send you proof, sir. Don't worry. Your argument.
Send the proof now, please. Can you live tweet on the same? Rahul sir, can I counter that?
What about the people in Tilaknagar and Gurappan Pandya? They are not young people. They are not even forced to, or they are not even asked to speak in Kannada during campaign. The campaign.
What are you saying?
Okay, one second, very quickly.
There is a special place for Urdu in Karnataka Congress in Karnataka because of Congress policy.
Quick response, Mr. Abbas.
Quick response.
Quick response.
Ma'am,
I'm running out of time. Quick response.
Let me quickly allow me to respond to you, ma'am.
Okay, Surabhi Mudigere, let him respond. Let Mr. Abbas respond.
Firstly, it's an absolute ridiculous statement, ma'am. The fact of the matter, it's so hypocritical. 2022 was the year when this order was gazetted.
Okay.
Who was the chief minister? Baswaraj Bommai. BJP.
Okay.
So shouldn't we blame
Karan Verma, what's good for what's good for Bommai is not good for is not good for Siddaramaiah. How does this work? Very quickly, Mr.
Rahul, they can wriggle out technicalities. The fact is, can I make a point, please? The fact is, Congress is all out for Muslim appeasement, whether it is removal of the hijab ban, whether it is the inclusion of Muslims as OBC in the category 2B, whether it's Siddaramaiah promising 10,000 crores for minority, or whether it's them capitulating.
Okay, it's all about appeasement.
They are all about
Tessin Punala, quick response, 30 seconds on the show.
I have never seen a more shameless party than the BJP that removes an order, gazets it and goes ahead opposing its own order. If it was not right, why did you remove it? So first apologize on Rahul's show for what you did wrong. Then expect, and the Congress stands for the people of Karnataka and for Kannada. Therefore, Kannada will always be protected by Congress and will not allow any other language to be imposed.
The BJP Kannada Prema, you don't have to teach us about our language.
The BJP knows
BJP is
nothing
not the
about
flag bearer
Karnataka
of Kannada,
culture.
madam.
Well, viewers, let me tell you one thing. Look, I don't know. No, hang on. I don't know. I don't know the demographics down to the last T, but I'm sure there are areas where there are people who speak other languages. It's interesting that they will not be spoken to in their mother tongues or instructed in their mother tongues. And Surbi, Mudigere and others who are perhaps more well versed with the demography of the state will tell you there are pockets where Tamil, etc. is spoken. But will the teachers be appointed and be mandated to speak in Tamil? I don't know, viewers. I don't know. I don't have the answers. But the BJP kicked this off. The Congress has implemented it. I don't know who's actually got the bragging rights in this story. But viewers, we have to then begin to question this whole business of language politics with more cynicism. I can tell you that much. I leave it at this. The Right Stand coming up with Anand Narsingh.
Prosecution or investigation when these allegations are incredibly strong. That is what is going to be investigated, and we see this as a victory. But more than anything, I'm sure that the legal advisor to the Chief Minister, as well as the Congress spokesperson, will have much to say on the legalities of it. But let me give you the political perspective. The political perspective is that when somebody has been saying that I've been in politics for 40 years and I'm clean, if that is so, then you should willingly resign and make sure that you are investigated by a competent authority. That is the expectation that people have, because CM Siddaramaiah has been saying that he has no black mark on him in terms of corruption, no sort of allegation against him. Here is an allegation that has come, a strong one, that has been debated in the public eye as well as with the governor since December 2023.
But Surbi has not been pronounced guilty as yet.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not pronouncing him guilty. I'm not a court of law. But there is an investigation agency for them to conduct a fair investigation. It is not legally mandated, of course, but in the eye of the public, it is the rightful moral thing to do, which is for Siddaramaiah sir to resign and ensure that he faces the investigation fairly. How can somebody who is in his
and the High Court has cleared the way for that. Surbi, the High Court has cleared the way for an investigation. The Chief Minister can be prosecuted. But I want to take your question to Shatabish Sevana, Siddaramaiah's counsel, with us on the broadcast as well. He's, of course, speaking for the Congress party here. Shatabish, tell us a little bit about what would you say to the manner in which the BJP has come out to seek Chief Minister's resignation. They say that the Congress party kept saying that the governor did not go by the advice of the cabinet, but the High Court has now come out to say in as many words that this is an exception, that in this particular case the governor was free to act in the manner in which he thought was right.
First and foremost, I want to answer to the political conspiracy that is being hatched by the political opposition, because I feel the public, the people of Karnataka very well know the credentials of Sri Siddaramaiah, his honesty, his integrity and whatnot. He has led a life that is impeccable, whether it be personally or politically. Now, the order of the governor was twofold, and that this is where the confusion arose. One, he granted prior approval to investigate, and also he granted sanction to prosecute. He did both the things in one breath. And today the High Court has clarified that this order of the governor will be treated only as a prior approval to investigate the matter and not be regarded as a sanction to prosecute. Number one. Number two, insofar as 17A prior approval is concerned, there must be some recommendation made or decision taken by the concerned public servant against whom these allegations are made. Now, insofar as the land is concerned, it has its own history of 30, 40 years. And if the opposition or the private respondents could point out a single decision taken by the Honorable Chief Minister or any recommendation made by him, then we will bow our heads down and we will, we will accept anything. But you can find absolutely nothing. And insofar as the aid and advice is concerned, yes, the governor is required, constitutionally mandated to act as per the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. However, there are few exceptions.
The forum that sets the national agenda is back.
When there are elections in a country and they give you results you don't like, you call them electoral autocracy.
With an unmatched legacy across India's important cities.
There is no such thing as a BJP foreign policy or a Congress foreign policy. There's only India's foreign policy.
Featuring policymakers at the heart of shaping the nation and economy.
It was this government which has amended the minimum alternative tax.
Alongside India's most iconic voices from diverse fields.
सोनू के टीटू की स्वीटी वो फिल्म थी जिसने मुझे घरों तक पहुंचाया.
Bangalore is absolutely the startup capital of the country.
To spark debate and engage in uninhibited conversations.
एकनाथ जी मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे, ये बात तो मुझे पहले से पता थी.
In the only town hall that matters and about to get bigger, better and more impactful. CNN News 18 Town Hall.
Today has said this is one such exception. Fine, even if I'm conceding to that for a moment, if he accepts that this is such an exception, he must accord cogent reasons as to why he's differing from the aid and advice. That is not forthcoming in the impugned order, and they say they provide, some file notings, which I directly allege that it is a concocted one, it is an engineered one.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, politically, nobody can demand the resignation of the Honorable Chief Minister. This is only the first step where we were questioning the validity of the governor's order because he had acted in haste. He had issued a show cause notice within 24 hours.
Siddaramaiah, who may just face prosecution now given the Karnataka High Court's verdict. The High Court, remember, has upheld the governor's sanctions, and hence we do see a little bit of trouble now for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Now the BJP, of course, amping up pressure and saying that the Chief Minister must not continue as the CM given the Karnataka High Court verdict, but the Congress continues to allege political vendetta, and we will be deep diving into this political war of words that's only likely to escalate in hours to come. But that's the big word coming in from the Karnataka High Court. We're picking up several legal reactions on this big story. Listen in.
Who was part of the legal team that was fighting for Siddaramaiah in the Karnataka High Court in this petition. Would you see this as a setback, the kind of observations made in the judgment?
It's definitely a setback, but there is of course an opportunity or a remedy available for appeal. Prima facie, we are of the opinion that there were certain observations that were unnecessary. I feel it was ultra vires of the authority that is vested in the Honorable Learned Single Judge. However, we bow our heads with humility and accept the order as it is today. But we will definitely explore our options. There are certain legal contentions that need to be addressed, and we will explore all these remedies.
Especially the observation that perhaps the governor shouldn't have or didn't have to go by the aid and advice of the cabinet, and that there was abundance of application of mind. Because these are 2 points that you were arguing on, one of the main contentions of your team.
Insofar as the aid and advice is concerned, the governor is required to act under the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. That's a mandate of the Constitution. It's a constitutional mandate. However, there are Supreme Court judgments that lay out exceptions as to when the governor can exercise his discretion. But is this a case where he could have exercised such discretion, especially when there was a cabinet decision to withdraw the show cause notice, or there was a detailed response from the Honorable Chief Minister, there was a detailed reply insofar as the Chief Secretary is concerned, there was an inquiry commission that was set up. So the governor must also accord reasons as to why he is differing from the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, in the absence of which the burden of proof is higher on him, especially in these circumstances. He's in the regular course of things, he's required to act under the aid and advice, but to defy it under these exceptional circumstances, he must accord cogent reasons, which we believe hasn't happened. And let's see.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got big news coming through. It's a sensational twist to this entire Tirumala Prasadam controversy. Well, now CNN News 18 has accessed documents that point towards irregularities in awarding the tender to AR Dairy Private Limited, and as per the tender document, clause 74. Now, I'm going to check because it's a huge document. It's about 28 pages and also the response. I have just opened up clause number 74 and highlighted it.